Hey guys. So Tekla asked about my video yesterday. In that one, I had dumped a bunch of footage from the field trip that we took to the museum as a class. And she was wondering, in the video, I'm saying the kids' names, Justin and Carol and Elizabeth and Abigail, and those are my students. And she asked if, they're Korean children. If those were their actual names or if they took American names when they took class. Um, it's kind of both. They do choose names when they start English school. They will pick an English name because my students are so young. Usually, either the parents pick it or they pick it together. Um, the thing with those names is a lot of times, obviously they go by those names the entire time that they're at school with us. I think the Korean teachers may use their Korean names, but I use their English names, and the bilingual teacher uses their English names as well. So the entire time they're at school, basically, they're going by their American names. And they get attached to them and they respond to them. Those are their names. I was explaining this to my grandma, and she was very, oh, they must get so confused because, they're learning this new language and they have new names now, and oh, isn't that so confusing? But if you think about it, yes, it might initially, but it's good because, and it's the same for any kind of title. When you're learning a new language, you're kind of rewiring your entire brain. And I don't know, in linguistics, I've read articles and I've read some studies about how basically, you almost develop a new personality when you're learning a new language because you're using different parts of your brain to access that language. Language acquisition is a whole brain rewiring, because when you're speaking in that language, once you gain fluency, you can, sometimes switch back and forth between what language you're thinking in, so that you can generate the correct speech. And the best way to appropriately, speak a language, rather than, like for me, when I'm trying to speak German, I'm thinking in English and I'm translating it into German. That's how I did most of the time. But when instead of thinking in English and translating into German, I started just thinking in German, that was when I got the most done. That was when I was actually able to communicate. I was faster. I felt more fluent. Obviously, I've lost all of that now. But it's kind of the same way with these kids, and having the American names helps. It's also really helpful for us because I can remember the name Justin better than a Korean name that I've never heard before, and I'm probably going to pronounce incorrectly. And, that's a whole issue too. What would it do for you to go to class every day and have the teacher that you see every day constantly mispronouncing your name or forgetting it entirely because it's a name they're unfamiliar with? It's a good system. I know a lot of students, I know a few students from back in when I was living in Ohio and teaching that, they kept their English names when they came to the States to study, and that's what we called them, when they were in class, because they were used to, when I speak English, this is my name. When I speak Korean, this is my name. So they're in English class, they go by their English name. And for kids that are starting as young as us, if they keep with the English programs, they'll probably keep that name and be using that for quite a while. Fun little anecdotes about it. They come up with some kind of crazy names sometimes. Obviously parents, especially with the little kids, the parents will go through the baby books and things like that, and they'll find names that are appropriate. But, you do get, like, there is a boy in one class named Kate, Kate, and the English teachers have tried to explain a couple of times, this is really a girl's name. Parents aren't convinced. His name is Kate. He will always be Kate. There's also a boy I've heard. I don't know any of these children. I don't even know if they're still in the school. It's just something we talk about in the office. Evidently, there was a boy at one time named Dinosaur. Kristen has two boys in the same class. One is named Odin and one is named Thor. No, they're not related, which I just find hilarious. And sometimes you do get some odd name choices, names that you don't hear very often in the United States, but or in at least where I live, that you hear over here, because they don't know what's popular, they're just going by whatever. But really, most of my students have pretty standard names. So that's all I'm going to talk about for today. It's Saturday. We went to Emart, but I mean, it was cool. There was a lot of stuff there. And I'm sorry it's so dark. I forgot to film while it was daylight. I'll try to remember tomorrow. Okay? I'll see you guys later. Bye.